Rocket League is dead. Speed flip to pay respects. If you've been keeping up with Rocket League over the last few years, you've probably seen that the community is pretty upset with the state of the game. Content creators are really peeved at the lack of content. Pros are really pissed about, well, the lack of content and also the state of the game. And there's nothing really new driving people to Rocket League. The only thing keeping Rocket League is that it's the only game of its type. It's got a devoted fan base and community that wants to love and play, and cherish the game, and just really love the esport and everything that it has to offer. But starting over this weekend is a movement that has been in the making for probably a few years now. Last week, we started having the monthly cash cups, which, as you might know, is a monthly tournament organized by Psyonix, where they do cash cups in all the different types of game modes across all the regions. And while this normally wouldn't be big enough news to talk about, it really does tie into the hashtag Rocket League is dead that I will also explain in a second, but let me build up to that. In this cash cup, as I mentioned, there's several different game modes, one of which is the pinnacle of like skill expression in Rocket League, the 1v1s. 1v1 in Rocket League is truly some of the most intense gameplay you will ever see. The actual just mechanical prowess of players on their keys and controllers is unbelievable. And it's even more unbelievable when you watch these pros complain when they play on stream that they are losing to bots in 1v1s. Yes, you heard that right, bots. Pros have been losing to bots and playing bots in all of their ranked matches for damn near a year now. And it doesn't stop there. In this last monthly Cash Cup, there were multiple reports from players saying that they actually finally played against bots in the Cash Cup. The mods, have said that there was insufficient evidence, and none of the bots actually ended up placing anywhere with prize pool money, so it's maybe not a huge deal right now, but it's definitely brewing up to be something hideous. And this ties into the most important note of them all, is that hashtag Rocket League is dead. Starting last week, and actually really coming to a head this week, was the first series of what we call opens in Rocket League, in which teams are qualifying for the first major of the year. And what is happening now in these events really needs to be discussed and highlighted, and it's come to a head. And now let me finally dive into it. Rocket League is dead. Over this event and in these opens, I'll actually just let me just use apparently Jack's words here. It is a complete joke that we do not have admins in top 16 matches, especially in a regional where direct LAN qualification matches are on the line. We disconnected game 1 versus Gentlemates and dropped 2 goals because of it, which cost us the game. Your rules pretty much force the other team to take advantage. It also happened in 3 other series within the span of an hour. This completely compromises the integrity of your esport, and you have the easiest fix in your hands, but choose to ignore it. That's unfair and shows huge ignorance. Give us admins for the rest of the regionals. It's not hard. Throughout this event, there were not admins available for matches. What AppJack said did happen. And if there was admins, the match would be paused. There would be admins to ask questions to. They would be able to mitigate and delineate and actually just come to a conclusion and have clear, concise resolution to problems like this happening. But they didn't have admins this weekend. Why? Who knows? Who knows? Does Psyonix care about their game? Do they watch their game? They have actively not cared about it, it seems, for a while now. AppJack is right. This did happen in a few series. And this is, again, hugely important. This is important to not just the esport, but the esport teams. Gentlemates, GK, I mean, both these teams are trying to win. They're both big orgs. They want their teams going on. Well, I'm sure Appjack here on GK Esports would love to have, that opportunity back. They want to play those games. They don't want to drop 2 goals in which one of their players isn't there. Why are there not admins available? And this tumultuous weekend really brought everything to a head, as these players are really just sick and tired of what they are having to do with the game. Rocket League has done nothing for them, for any of the pros, for any of the content creators. We have Vatira starting a trend, starting a tweet, and hashtag Rocket League is dead. Because Rocket League is, by all means, for the people who love it and care, it's dead. If you are anything more than a casual fan of Rocket League, the game has died. I've played Rocket League pretty much since its release. I've coached professional women's teams. I've been a content creator for it. I have stopped playing Rocket League to the extent that I used to because there is nothing driving me to play the game anymore. And I love the game. You can tell me to list my top 5 favorite video games of all time, it's up there. But the game is dead for anyone more than a casual fan. What I actually think is the biggest issue that has driven these pros and content creators to starting this trend and to really feeling like this is the lack of clear communication from Psyonix on the issues that these players face. All the pro players are obviously the best in the world, and they obviously play at the highest level when they queue up for ranked games. Well, these ranked games have been plagued for over a year now by DDoS attacks and by bots. You can go on Twitter and find a trillion tweets from these pros saying, well, yep, that's 7 games in a row now. I've been DDoSed or played against a bot. Where is the practice? Where's the fun? Where's the actual riveting gameplay? And then the content creators have the same issue. The ones who are good enough to be in those lobbies face it every day. They stream, they spend 2 seconds in a 1v1, they're like, yep, we're playing a bot again. How is this allowed to happen? How is there this long without effective communication? How long is there without some sort of resolution? What is Psyonix doing actively to help their game? And if you ask any of these players, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So shout out to Vatira. Vatira started the movement. Vatira says the movement's launched. If you wish to help us move forward, make this tweet. Rocket League is dead. Vatira's the GOAT. Honestly, really big shout out to him. This is a huge thing to tweet because these players will probably get some pushback. If not from their own orgs, probably from Psyonix in some measure. That's why you won't see too many content creators say anything like this. There'll be a few, and honestly, big shout out to them. But the ones who are usually sponsored by Psyonix and the ones who might have a little bit of conflict of interest will probably stay quiet on it. But the pros, I think, have finally gotten to the point where Rocket League for them, it's too serious. They can't put up with this anymore. We have Zen, one of the greatest players in the world, one of the most mechanical, one of the most brilliant. Truly, all eyes in the Rocket League world are always watching him because he is the young prodigy that has grown up and become a force to be reckoned with, and will probably go down as one of the greatest Rocket League players of all time when his career is over. Tweeting that he's tired of the game. He can't play it, he can't grind it because they're either getting DDoSed or they're playing bots. What is the solution here? I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I mean, to me, it seems simple. Psyonix needs to communicate more. They need to actually have bigger ban waves. They need to do them more actively. They need to take away possibly the software that allows for these bots and these DDoSes. Who knows? They don't pay me to do that. But one thing is for certain, Rocket League is dead, and Psyonix and Epic Games are at least complicit in it.